So the 49ers linebacker Reuben Foster was suspended for 2 games because he violated the NFL's conduct and substances of abuse policies. And this was also after, of course, he had a domestic violence charge raised up against him and then ultimately dropped in court. And I think it's interesting. I remember that. I want you to remember that Reuben Foster did not just get in trouble for a domestic violence charge, right? He also got in trouble for possession of marijuana. And Reuben Foster again got in trouble for possession of an assault rifle. Now, both were resolved. Both situations were resolved in the offseason. But I want to talk about this 2-game suspension because when Reuben Foster was suspended for 2 games, there were a lot of 49ers fans that were upset. And I understand why they were upset because the feeling is, the way that it looks is that, the domestic violence charges were dropped and then Reuben Foster was still suspended. And you go, what? He was free and then they still punished him. That's how it seems. That's how the appearance is. But I don't think personally that 49ers fans should feel angry. If it were me, because I think you have a choice. You could either feel lucky or 49ers fans can feel like they were screwed over. I don't think 49ers fans were directly screwed over. And I honestly would rather take the side of, I think they're lucky. Because all things considered, a 2-game suspension isn't that bad. Getting suspended for just 2 games, in comparison to what it could have been, 2 games is not that bad. And that's why, when Reuben Foster was first announced he was given a 2-game suspension, I took a deep breath. I said, whew, okay. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to wait. I'm going to look at both sides. And I honestly, when I took a step back, I understand both sides. I understand both situations. I understand that it's not a black and white situation. It's kind of a murky, not entirely clear situation. And I think given all of the headlines that Reuben Foster had this offseason, all the speculation, there was people worried that Reuben Foster was going to get suspended for maybe even the entire season. I saw one article that said that. And going from maybe a 6-game, maybe a full season suspension to only a 2-game suspension, all things considered, that's pretty good. And so I understand, I acknowledge 49ers fans, I understand why they might be angry. But at the same time, I think you have a choice. I don't know if it was fair or not. I don't know if the 2-game suspension was entirely fair. I don't honestly want to get into it, but I know this. All things considered, 49ers fans have a choice. They can choose to feel like they were screwed over, or they can feel like they were lucky. Okay, well, it could be way worse than a 2-game suspension. Let's just take a deep breath and be grateful it's only 2 games. Because 2 games, I think the 49ers will be able to overcome a 2-game suspension from Reuben Foster, maybe their best defensive player. If Reuben Foster was suspended for 6 games, that dramatically changes their season. 2 games is survivable. 6 games, that's a huge, much different impact. If he's out for the whole season, you might even be moving on from him. So a 2-game suspension, in the scheme of things, is not as bad as it could have been. Is that fair? I understand if you're mad, but I'm choosing to take the stance that you can either feel lucky or screwed over, and I would rather 49ers fans go, hey, you know what? We got away with one. We got lucky. It could have been way worse. So that's my honest opinion. But if you're mad, I understand. So there you go. That's the Richard Sherman suspension. That's my official opinion, my official take. If you disagree with me, feel free to talk to me, though, because I have an open mind. I love debate. I love discussion. And I am very much open-minded to you guys. And if you feel differently than me, I will listen to you. I'll respond to the comments. I love healthy debate. I think debate is very important. I think disagreement is very important. And so if you disagree with me about the Reuben Foster suspension, please leave a comment on YouTube and I will get back to you. I'll respond, and I might even talk about it on the next podcast I make. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you want to help Strong Opinion Sports grow, you can share this with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about this show. And always remember, you can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, everywhere you can find a podcast, as well as YouTube. My full entire podcast is on YouTube, as well as shorter, more interesting clips like this. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and take care. Bye.